5-round MMA.
A different view to MMA.
Gotta watch that 5-round MMA,
Welcome, everyone.
y'all.
This is 5-round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host Albert Seated, and on the phone we have from the East Coast, Guillermo Seated. Gentlemen, the group is back together. The band is back together. Guillermo, how's it going, man?
Enough.
Yeah, I know,
Man, man.
We were
Who's it? Is Albert Jinder Mahal?
the three
Son of a
MB,
gun.
the three MBs back together. Yeah.
General Hall had the best push, dog.
Well, you know for sure
I'll take it.
you'd be what's his name? The ginger. He said,
Yeah,
you got kids,
you got
man.
kids, Memo.
You got kids, man.
And I don't think he's done.
I do have kids, man.
So yeah, Guillermo, we returned last week after we had a pretty long month of April filming the Fighters Pride documentaries, and I'm just doing some other stuff for the Fighters rep promotion. Hope everybody got to check it out. But now the gang's back together. We're back in smack talking mode.
Come down, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, right.
Real quick before we
We're not
start,
here to take ours. We're here to take over.
I'm not trying to give free sponsorship away, but man, it's Scoopy's awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have this cool little.
Hook me up, dude. I saw that.
I know I have this Dragon Ball Z little water thing, and I never used it for my pre-workout because when I would try to put the scoop in there, I put my hand on top and I just get all over the place. And then
You're wasting good protein.
Yeah, and I'm wasting good product there. And so the other day I was like, you know what? Scoopy hooked us up. Let me check it out. Man, that thing's it's like if you're using a spoon and then you finally saw a fork.
Yeah.
You know, a fork is just way better.
You've been cutting your steak with spoons. Is that what it is?
Exactly. and yeah, and so now I get to take my little cool. So I started taking my Dragon Ball Z water ball thing now that I can put in my pre-workout, and I was getting compliments left and right on my water ball. Like, dude, bro, is that a Capsule Corp? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, thanks to the
Hey, hook me
Scoopy.
up with the Scoopy, dude. I saw that. I need one.
Yeah, we can get it. They hooked us up with Scoopy. They sponsor our Fighters Pride videos. Thank you to them.
I
They
saw
sent some
that.
great products to put into the video. So if you want just a more convenient way to pack your protein pre-workout baby formula, go to the Scoopy, man. Check them out here.
Albert, that'd be perfect for your baby on the way.
I got kids, man.
I haven't seen how I can use it because I'm not a big believer of formula, Memo.
No.
But if I use formula, I'll check it out.
All right.
Hey, before we get started, though, Alex, all I want to say is LeBron James the GOAT or what, bro?
No, he's
Let me
not.
get out of here, bro. That's trash.
Oh my
I don't care
God.
if he does how many buzzle beaters. He's trash.
Nah.
I hope the Clippers get him.
Even though he passes everybody in the record book, even if he gets more championships than Kobe,
He's not.
still won't consider him the GOAT?
No.
He's never gonna get more championships, and he's trash.
Yep.
Wow, you're trash.
Well, we can agree there. So let's get to mixed martial.
round hasn't even started.
Mixed martial arts. Albert, get that timer ready for me, please.
All this smack talking. I was
Before we start round number one, we have a little. If you guys watch on YouTube, a little bit of a change up here. We're trying to, always. One thing about us, we always try to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
We always try to keep it fresh. So we're always
always evolving.
Always evolving. Trying to do different things here. So we're a little different setup here. Let us know if you guys like it or hate it, or we'll see what's going on here. So round number one. So I don't know where it came from, but last week we talked about Nick Diaz returning to the octagon, and I guess his little brother Nate Diaz said, "Hey man, what about me too?" So I guess there's rumors going on that he's ready to start or in negotiations to talk. And one of the main guys the first guys to call him out was Kevin Lee. He said, "quote I think Nate, that Nate fight is out there to be had. He's already run away from me once. Now I've got August 4th coming up. Let's get it on. August 4th at UFC 227 in Los Angeles, I think is what Kevin Lee's talking about. Hey, but one, what makes Nate Diaz such an attractable opponent for a lot of these guys? And two, do you like Kevin Lee versus Nate Diaz as a fight?
Let me get that first, Guillermo. You can
Go for it.
you can
Go
check
for
this out. I'll tell you real quick why.
I'll take the hot
because a
tag.
lot of people can relate to the Diaz brothers.
Yeah.
As far as education level, as far as the way they talk, as far as the way they dress. They're very relatable to a lot of people, especially in Northern California. And take that as you want. I'm just keeping it real. Well, that's 100 right there. But that's why they're most relatable, I think. To tell you the truth, I think it's a smart move to be calling out the Diaz brothers right now, just because the 155 and the 170 seems to be a standstill, and that's where both Diaz brothers fight.
Kevin, what about you? You like what about Kevin
Hot
Lee versus
tag.
Nick Diaz? You like that?
Give me the hot
No,
tag.
yeah,
Give
give
me
Kevin
the
Lee,
hot tag.
because everybody knows the Diaz brothers' Achilles heel is that wrestling.
Yeah, true. Graham, what do you think? What is about the Nate Diaz Every once in a while. Is it the Conor McGregor effect still, you think? Rebounding from Conor McGregor?
Well, that's one. I mean, like, as long as Nate Diaz has that win over Conor McGregor, I think he's going to be an attractive name. But that and money alone, I mean, everybody knows people will tune in to watch Nate Diaz win regardless. You have the Nate Diaz haters like Albert that'll tune in anyway just to see Nate Diaz lose. And then you have the Nate Diaz fans like me that want to watch him fight, and I think he's good. I mean, he's always been a top 10 guy, and he's fought the best of the best. I mean, like, and he's still somewhat young. And at the same time, for Kevin Lee, this is the smartest thing he can do. I mean, like, Khabib is tied up a little bit with Tony. We don't know with Tony Ferguson. We don't know with Conor McGregor. So what's the next hottest fight is against Nate Diaz. So I think that's a smart move. And if he does beat Nate Diaz, knock him out, you can technically say Kevin Lee versus Conor McGregor or Kevin Lee versus the championship. I mean, without a doubt, without hesitation. So I think it's a smart move on his part. And then the second thing, I mean, the trash talking alone between both guys, you're going to expect fireworks, especially in the pre build up of the fight. So I think it's all good and it's all strategized. I mean, Kevin Lee was our first guest ever, and from the very beginning, he told us, "Hey, some of these guys are just chicken not to be able to speak out their mind. I mean, like, if you want something, go grab it." And I think if I remember correctly, that was the biggest takeaway from him is like he's going to keep it real, 100%. Mm-hmm. So. And we haven't seen anything other than that from Kevin Lee. So I think it's a smart move. I think Kevin Lee has built up enough feuds also, not just with Nate Diaz, but all these other guys. So, I mean, I think right now he's hot himself of people wanting to see him fight.
Yeah, I think there's one thing when we first talked to Kevin, who was again our very first guest. I'd like to point that out. We had him on the show, and we did a written piece on him, a written article, and we asked him like, "Hey, so where you at in your career? Do you think are you ready for the UFC, or do you want to maybe go to Bellator first or World Series of Fighting?" He said, "Chip, no." He's I believe right now I'm better than all the lightweights in Bellator, in World Series of Fighting. I'm going to go straight to the UFC, and he did that. So this is a guy, a fighter, who everything he says he's going to do, he's done already. Or if he says he's going to do it, this guy he talks the talk and he walks the walk. So I mean, I get what he said about Nate Diaz, but okay, so let's the flip side now. If you're Nate Diaz, Albert, do you even want Kevin Lee? Is it in the eyes of Nate Diaz? Is Kevin Lee big enough to bring that money for him?
I honestly think he doesn't believe that the money's there with Kevin Lee. I'm pretty sure when it comes to Diaz, he wants to hear only two names. One specific name, actually, is Conor McGregor.
Obviously.
But I think the Khabib fight, it's hard to turn down, knowing that it's a known. I mean, you could go to any.
Well, they have beef, right? Didn't they fight each other at the fighting?
Yeah, the World Series fighting once they're down. But I'm just trying to say, as far as recognition, people know who Khabib is now.
Yeah.
Sure, he's not up there. You're not going to get the same payday as Conor McGregor, but I think you're dumb if you pass up that Khabib fight. But to tell you the truth, I don't think he takes on that Kevin Lee fight.
What about you, Guillermo? You think Kevin Lee's attractive to Nate Diaz to take this fight?
I think so. I think the only thorn in all this is Tony Ferguson. How long is he out for? Because it's pretty apparent that Khabib versus Conor McGregor will kind of materialize by the end of this year. So if Nate Diaz can't pull off that Tony Ferguson fight, Kevin Lee is the best alternate up there in terms of legitimacy or top contender fight.
Yeah, so we'll see. Let's see if I mean, it's always with Nate Diaz. He kind of just changes his mind. I'm coming back. I'm not coming back. Give me that money. I want more money. Blah blah blah. So we'll see what the future has in hold. If not, we all know Kevin Lee's future is bright.
The other thing too that we got to think about is if Nate Diaz loses to Kevin Lee, what does that do with Nate Diaz's shots at the top?
Bellator, bro.
Yeah,
Bellator.
I'm sure that's not what he wants. That trilogy.
All right, that's it for round number. We're going to come back and talk about the future, what the UFC has in store for its light heavyweight division. But before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to one of our great sponsors, Mobilitas Mobility Tools, the best mobility tools on the planet. Durable, portable, manufacturer release products designed with more grip to help you restore muscle to original health. They got foam rollers, peanuts, roller balls to get those little tight muscle cramps out there. Stretch out, feel good, sexy, supple, sexy, luxurious design. Use promo code 5ROUNDMMA. It's number 5ROUNDMMA for 20% off your order. Do it, man. You guys have to work out. Get those knots out. That way the next workout's even better. Mobilitas Mobility Tools. Promo code 5ROUNDMMA. 20% off your order. Round 2 coming up next. Welcome back. Time for round number 2. So Michael Bisping is always even though he's not fighting, he's always active just by the promos he cuts or just something he'll say. Kind of people kind of latch onto, especially if it's a slow news week, which it was a slow news week this week. But he said, kind of people are asking like, what do you want to do? You want to go back to 185? Do you want to still fight at all? If you do fight, it's gonna be maybe at 205 because he even fought a heavyweight before, hasn't he? Or
No, I think it's 205 has been the.
So he said, "quote I forgot where he said it from, but it says a quote. Honestly, I don't know, but I hear that the last person I knocked out may be fighting for an interim belt. If he wins, I'm in. I'm 225 right now and pretty ripped. Never making 185 again." End quote. So there's rumors going out that Luke Rockhold versus Alexander Gustafsson, who just signed a new deal with the UFC, is in the works for an interim light heavyweight title bout.
I do not understand it.
Yeah, okay, that's.
But I don't hate it.
Okay,
Why
so
don't you
first,
understand it?
okay, Gamble. Why don't you, Albert? Why don't you understand it?
Because Luke Rockhold technically is coming off 2 losses, bro. I'm not counting that win he did against Branch. No disrespect to Branch, but I'm just not counting it. I'm putting a little asterisk.
It happened, but
It happened, but it wasn't championship level, I
Yeah.
guess you could say. Even though Branch was a whatever.
Yeah.
All right, throw that there.
two division champ.
2 division champ. It's all right. Luke Rockhold couldn't get past Yoel Romero, and I think that alone doesn't qualify him to challenge for an interim belt in a different weight class. And on top of that, I know it's Alex's boy, Gustafsson. Let's keep it real. He hasn't done anything to qualify for that interim belt as well. Sure, he has a couple of wins, but let's keep it real. He lost against DC. I thought he beat John Jones, but still,
He got knocked out by Rumble Johnson, didn't he?
He got knocked out by Rumble Johnson. So I don't see. But then if you go down the list, I guess it makes
Thank you.
it makes
Thank you
sense.
for-
But that doesn't change the fact that it's
contradicted
mind blowing
yourself, like
to even do it.
typical.
I say you just wait after what happens with DC. I don't think the lightweight division, light heavyweight division needs an interim because I think you need to build up stars to begin with, and an interim title isn't the way to do it.
Yeah, I think after not that long ago, it was a couple weeks ago when Gustafsson announced that he signed his deal. He made like a comment, and then both DC and John Jones were clowning on him on Twitter. Like it's the one time John Jones and DC actually teamed up, and that was because they're both clowning on Alexander Gustafsson. But Guillermo, do you think maybe the UFC is banking on DC beating Stipe Miocic and Rockhold defeating Gustafsson, and then you have Rockhold versus DC, a Camp versus Camp, Fran versus Fran with Cain Velasquez as special guest referee? Do you think it's gonna happen?
Too many hypotheticals. Let's keep it real. DC, no matter how you think about it, his fight it's not till July, right?
Yeah.
So we're 2 months away. There's a hold up at light heavyweight. Let's keep it real. Let's call it what it is. There's a hold up at light heavyweight. There's a hold up at heavyweight. Regardless of the outcome of that fight, there's a hold up at light heavyweight because even after that fight, what if DC can't defend his belt till later on that year? So you're talking about going almost. When's the last time DC fought for the light heavyweight or defending his belt?
It wasn't that long ago, bro.
He just defeated him.
Yeah. He just defeated
You
I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm not even going to try it, bro.
Oh, Volkan.
Yeah.
Right. Vulcan. But when was that, Alex?
It wasn't that long ago, bro. It was a couple months.
A couple months ago.
3 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months ago. 3 months ago. Okay, let's be realistic. So 3 months ago, July's 2 months. In 2 months, so that's 5 months. And then if you don't see him till like late October, November, you're almost to a year, dude, without defending that light heavyweight belt. So an interim makes sense because then also you have something in the works in case DC does lose that heavyweight bout against Stipe Miocic. You have, hey, DC versus the interim champion winner, which is Alexander Gustafsson or Luke Rockhold, which I don't think. And remember, I told you guys a long time ago that Luke Rockhold was training somewhere else.
Yeah.
In Florida?
In Florida. So I don't know if he's trying to separate himself from American Top Team.
But he still has the head coach in his corner in the last fight too against Romero. He had the AKA head coach in his corner, even though
I'm sure he paid him, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he paid him too. But I find that a little bit weird. But yeah, he had his whole training camp in Florida.
Yeah.
But
DC,
the other thing too is maybe they're banking on Gustafsson beating Luke Rockhold, and it builds up that, hey, I beat your buddy from AKA. Now it's your turn type of rivalry with Alexander Gustafsson. I mean, I'm just saying, if we're talking about hypotheticals now,
Yeah.
Alex.
But let's keep it real, Guillermo. Whoever wins it is a placeholder for Cain Velasquez when he makes his 205 debut.
I guess.
That's not going to happen, though.
It's gonna
That's not
happen.
gonna I just
You
saw
lay
him,
off the tortillas and it can happen, bro. You'll be surprised, Guillermo, once you let go of tortillas.
Yeah.
But the final point that I had, Alex, is that if you don't have Gustafsson and you don't have Luke Rockhold, what name fighter and light heavyweight worthy enough a pay-per-view buy? Because
Lemire
that's how
Latif.
Ooh.
yeah, is that pay-per-view buy though?
No, it's not even.
That's how I
fight
always
night
think
main
about.
Rumble
It's like,
Johnson left at the
it-
wrong time.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's fine and dandy that you can main event a Fox card or a FS1 card. That's fine and dandy. But if you can't main event a
Pay-per-view.
pay-per-view, you're not worthy of being a contender or a legitimate contender at that weight class that you're fighting for.
Yeah.
And
No.
so to me, Gustafsson and Luke Rockhold are those main eventers that are pay-per-view. I would buy that pay-per-view to see that fight.
And we're on, before we end this round, it's almost over. We all agree that Bisping at 205 is just kind of a joke, right?
Oh yeah, because that was the initial thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we got the round started, but we didn't even talk about the rest of the round. So that's it for round number 2. We're going to come back and talk about Guillermo's new favorite fighter, the man who's cut the meanest promos in all
I
of
hate
mixed
this
martial
guy.
arts, Colby Covington. So do not go anywhere. But
What a
before we do that,
douchebag.
I want to give a shout out to our longtime sponsor, 5 Rounds clothing line. 5 Rounds offers a unique collection of MMA apparel and accessories. They incorporate the culture, style, and attitude of mixed martial arts in their clothing line. They're constantly evolving and improving to become the best fight-wear company in the MMA world. Check out the lines of hoodies, hats, t-shirts, and other great accessories at 5rounds.net. That's 5rounds.net. They're also on Twitter at 5roundswear, the number 5roundswear, and on Instagram at 5rounds_. Get it on. Round three coming up next. Yeah, round number 3. Welcome back. Time for round number 3. Let's talk about the man who's got the meanest promos in all of mixed martial arts.
You call those promos?
Yeah, man. So, Colby Covington, obviously, you give him any platform, whether it be Twitter or put a microphone in his face, he's going to say something controversial.
Put him in a different organizations backstage, and he'll still have
He's
something.
calling other guys' wives horse faces and calling everybody out. But I guess we all know what he's doing, right? He's making attention to himself, and it's working. One guy who caught the attention of it was
It's
Joe
not
Rogan.
working.
With Joe Rogan, who said, quote, I get what Colby's doing. He's making a lot of noise and trying to do business. And if you fight him, you're going to make a lot of money because a lot of people are going to come and get his ass kicked. And quote, this is kind of statement from what Colby said about John Jones. I'm not too sure what he said. I don't want to go back on it. But this got a word of Joe Rogan's words about Colby got to Colby, and he said, quote, I think Joe Rogan should worry about what he's saying more about me because we might just meet face to face soon in the near future. He might be commentating that Chicago card, so that's kind of hypocritical of him to say something like that because when he's talking about me, we might be face to face, and I might just have to slap him, end quote. Joe Rogan has long been kind of off limits for a lot of fighters, right? No matter how crucial he is, he's like the one guy nobody ever goes after Joe because he's Joe Rogan. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I think the last
Cool dude. Who's that guy? I can't remember the guy who's actually had the beef.
was Rampage.
Really?
But it wasn't really anything. He just said that he didn't like how Joe Rogan, pretty much, if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, he's all over you and
Yeah.
he's buttering you up
Yeah.
like you're the
But nothing
greatest
like
thing.
this, right?
But nothing like this.
Yeah, because Joe Rogan seems to have a lot of. He's super knowledgeable. His one of the most popular podcasts ever. But Colby, he's proof that nobody's off limits. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it too.
Guillermo, but what is it about Colby Covington that you dislike the most, Guillermo?
The thing that I hate.
He trains in Florida too, Guillermo, so be careful
I
what
know
you say.
you might just see you might be
don't
face to
care.
face with them.
I don't care. I'll give him my address. I don't care. Here's the thing about Colby Covington is that you have the truth, guys that tell the truth. You have guys that can cut a promo or, will sell a fight and say things that are, somewhat funny and somewhat relatable, right? And then there's straight up bullies and being douchebags. And that's where he crossed the line. I mean, who the heck calls okay, so let's take up let me start from the beginning. The level of douchebagsness, all
Yeah.
right? So you have, to me, you have Michael Bisping, right? And then all of a sudden you get worse from that because then you get Al Iaquinta. And then from there, you go down to Mike Perry, and I thought that was like the bottom low, right? Well, now there's an even worse guy, and that's Colby Covington. I mean, like, who the hell, goes into a country and calls out the country people there
Oh, yeah.
and not expect
Oh, yeah.
for people to get upset? And, dude, it's like, how many people live in Brazil? I mean, like, dude, he's asking for it. Who does that? I mean, like, that's the shadiness of douchebagness that this guy has elevated to because a whole country hates this guy. And even you look at all the rivalries, Kevin Lee, Joe Rogan. I mean, you can go down the list. there's a lot of hit target. And the thing is, he thinks he's so badass because he wants this elite status, but he hasn't done nothing to prove it. He's using
He
his
beat
mouth.
Damian Maya. That's pretty impressive.
And stun gun.
That's not impressive at all.
Oh, no, with the zombie. Yeah.
I mean,
Korean zombie. Sorry.
and then the other thing too is you look at Chael Sonnen,
No,
because
you're right.
it seems like he's trying to take the page out of Chael Sonnen's, trying to put his mouth instead of his skill, and then I guess his skill finally caught up. I just haven't seen that from Kobe Covington. So shut the hell up until your skill level gets to it.
No, I couldn't be.
Well, he's
look,
fighting for the interim title next. It
Yeah,
worked. It
exactly.
worked.
That's what Guillermo doesn't get. The guy's fighting for the interim title. I think he puts himself in the headlines just enough to stay relevant, but not enough to get in trouble, actual trouble. I think, to be honest, he's going about it the right way.
Yeah.
He's cutting a good promo. That's how you turn heel, Jones. If John Bone Jones is listening, he needs to come and take school from Kobe Covington, because that's how you turn heel. That's the proper way to turn heel.
This is the era that we're in, thanks to the Godfather, Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
And then Conor McGregor took it to the next level. I mean, Conor McGregor talked his way into a title shot against Jose Aldo, and then from there, he talked his way into a bout with Floyd Mayweather. This is the era that we're in.
Skill.
Well, yeah, true, but I mean,
But to say that's what I'm trying to say. Obviously, it works. He has an interim title belt coming up, and
if he wins,
for Mike Perry too, and Mike Perry's been on a losing streak.
Well, Mike Perry,
and it seems like he gets a name.
We kind of know his
you
skill level now.
You guys defend Mike Perry you guys defend him time after time again, and it's like I told you guys, this guy's a douchebag. Plus, what he does is talking, but he doesn't have the skill to back it up. Kobe Covington is the exact same way. He just hasn't encountered a loss yet.
I don't know if it was true though. Was it true, Cameron, that you sent us that Kobe Covington was spoiling the Avengers? That I do not condone. By the way,
I do not condone spoilers.
So, and then that's the other thing too is like he on Twitter. Go to his Twitter account, guys. I swear. So the number one rule about movies, especially really really good ones that are coming out, is do not spoil the movie.
Yeah.
And like I follow him on Twitter, and then all of a sudden I see, Spider-Man dies. It's like,
what a troll!
Yeah, it's like, dude, what the hell is up with that?
That's a heat-seeking missile right there, man. He wants.
I do not condone it.
Neither do I.
But that's a good heel move right there.
Defend this? You guys defend this?
No, I don't defend it at all. That's like you don't cross. You just cross the line right there, bro. Definitely cross the line.
What if he had backstage info on the ending to Star Wars, the newest trilogy, and he put that on Twitter? Then you guys would have a whole different opinion, right?
True. That's it for round number 3. Colby Covington does fight Rafael Dos Anjos at UFC 225 on June 9th. Coming up pretty soon. That's it for round number 3. We're going to take a small break and come back and enter the championship rounds. We're talking about the potential of a Golden Boy MMA and also preview UFC 224. But between that, let's recognize our rest of our sponsors, Diazyme workout supplements, and Girl Gang Wraps clothing. Hand wraps, clothing for the Fight Babe. For the Fight Babe, we could probably beat all of us up, by the way. And also a big shout out to our friends at Dos Leprechauns Podcast. Notre Dame football, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports, pop culture, all in one show. Follow them on all forms of social media and check out their podcast, the Dos Leprechauns Podcast. Leprechaun Jason, Leprechaun Nate, bring it real to you all the time, man. Dos Leprechauns Podcast. Championship rounds coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Let's enter the championship round. So we have, the UFC, we have Bellator, and then we have, the Professional Fight League, which is kind of relaunching itself, and then we have, the LFA, we have King of the Cage, Invicta, and then kind of from there you get the regional promotions, professional, but then rumor is now that Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya, is getting into the MMA business. Golden Boy MMA, and one of the first bouts they want to do is Chuck Liddell, the Iceman, versus the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz. TMZ caught up with De La Hoya and Liddell out of somewhere in LA at a hotel, and they said that, hey, what's going on, man? De La Hoya said, hey, we're talking some business. It's no secret that I love what MMA fighters do and the technique they have and the sacrifice they make, so I want to get into the MMA business. I want to start Golden Boy MMA, and we're just talking some business, end quote. By the way, Liddell's 48 years old.
Yeah.
Is there room for another promotion like this? If so, how can it succeed?
I think there's room for this if they do the boxing type thing.
Hybrids?
Of hybrids, where I feel like a fighter is its own promotion, I guess, in a way. Where like Chuck Liddell and Ortiz the main fight, and then they put on a mediocre. They put a couple of minor cards under fighters under there. but ultimately the biggest cut it goes to Chuck Liddell
Yeah.
and to Ortiz, which it's the way it should be. When Conor McGregor puts his name on it, Conor McGregor should get the biggest cut out of everybody,
Yeah.
regardless, because he's the one the reason we're watching it anyways. And then that's how boxing is, and I don't see nothing wrong with that. And I don't mind seeing it attached that way, like UFC. It goes up for a Golden Boy fighter, and then they put a show together.
Yeah.
But the fighters are the main focus, and they're the main guys that get the cut. So if they go that route, I'm all for it, and I think there is a place for it if they do go that route. If it's just another organization strictly like Bellator and UFC, no, you're way too late.
Yeah, I know Bellator, they do the hybrid kickboxing MMA bouts every once in a while. They have Bellator kickboxing. But Guillermo, this kind of seemed the roots of it when McGregor was trying to find a boxing opponent, and then De La Hoya's like, oh, I think Canelo Alvarez would be it. And then then after the Mayweather fight, no, I'm going to fight Conor McGregor. So it kind of seems that he's been itching to get at least a small piece of the MMA business. What do you think about this, Guillermo? Golden Boy MMA, do you think it could work under that formula?
Here's where Albert's missing. It's called Canelo Alvarez. So what's the biggest thing everybody complains about boxing, right? Is that
Steroids.
you have the main. What?
You say what's the biggest complaint?
It's a
I said
fix.
steroids.
No, well, the biggest complaint is that whenever you buy a boxing card, Albert, you're paying $60, but you're only paying for the main event,
Yep.
right? Nobody knows who these other fighters are. Now you're adding additional names. You're done. Like Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell, a guy named Jason Hendricks will pay $60 to buy this boxing pay-per-view, and on top of that, you're going to get to watch Canelo Alvarez as the main event. So more pay-per-view buys for his Golden Boy promotion.
Yeah.
So you see how that works a little bit? Is the thing is, even if he does like one event or two events a year, you have the early
hybrid
May,
show, yeah.
Cinco de Mayo, and then you have the September, around the Mexican national holiday. You have two cards, and you add in additional names like a Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz. You have additional pay-per-view buys. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's money. I mean, these guys, I'm assuming, aren't going to get the type of money that Conor McGregor would. But you also offer this avenue where, hey, I'm guaranteed I'm going to get this amount of pay-per-view buys because I already have Canelo Alvarez in the exact same card.
I can tell you how horrible Guillermo's thinking is.
He's your brother.
They're not going to do hybrid shows. I don't
think so?
I don't see the box. You don't because see.
think so?
I talk to these boxing nerds.
I think they have to do hybrid shows.
I talk to boxing nerds every day, all day, and those boxing nerds just will not put up with a hybrid MMA boxing show. So those hardcore fans that do follow boxing so much. By the way, this is a huge boxing weekend. I bet you guys don't even know it. But those boxing nerds over there were so hyped this weekend because they still got Triple G. I bet you guys didn't even know Triple G still boxed, even though Canelo wasn't in it. No, I did not watch it. There's a big heavyweight showdown in the UK. There was also Oscar De La Hoya's Pro J boxing this weekend too. The Flash, I forget his name. But anyways, the point is these boxing nerds will not want to see a hybrid MMA boxing show.
This is why Albert's such a joke, because he just talks about boxing nerds, and he's a boxing nerd himself.
You got no old disciplines if you don't talk smack.
It's like you're making fun of wrestling fans.
But the thing is, so you didn't even watch Golovkin, dude, which is one of the best fighters.
I saw the second round TKO, dog.
Yeah,
I have Instagram.
On ESPN.
I have
It's on
Instagram.
ESPN, but regardless, Albert, if Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz was on the Golovkin card this weekend, you would have tuned in. I guarantee you. Don't say no, because I know you would.
I would have tuned in.
Yeah,
I would have tuned in and watched the
probably.
freak show of Ortiz versus
Alex.
Liddell, and then I would have said, "Oh, Golovkin's pretty good. Let me see what he's going to do."
There you go. See, thank you.
But we'll see.
Business.
But it has to be like established boxers. Like if you're gonna put that and then like put a bunch of guys that on like I don't know. It has to be like it has to be like Canelo Alvarez and somebody else, or like Chavez, the casual fan that know, you know what I mean? Because even like MMA fans, though Kimbo versus Ken Shamrock was huge numbers, or didn't like Bellator do, was it like huge numbers? And you know what? I mean, like, there is an audience for that, but you just got to be careful how you pair it up because the rest of the card does matter. So that's it for round number 4. We got one more round coming up. Before we do that, I want to give it a big shout out. And I may encourage you all to go visit our good friends at FightBookMMA.com, the only place you'll find real combat news from all over the world. A website you can trust with accurate news from all combat sports. If it's not confirmed, verified, they're not going to post it. They don't deal in rumor. It has to be true fact. So everything about you see on there is 100% real. You got interviews, fight results from all over, every type of, pretty much every. If it happened on the weekend, it's on their website, FightBookMMA.com. It's a great section for podcasts. You catch us on there with a great collection of podcasts, combat sports podcasts. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, FightBookMMA.com. Do yourself a favor, bookmark it. 5th and final round coming up next. Welcome back. 5th and final round. UFC 224 takes place this Saturday, May 12th. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, headlined by a women's bantamweight championship bout between Amanda Nunes and Raquel Pennington. Co-main event, Jacare Souza versus Kevin Gastelum. Also on this card, Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Cooper, John Linkner versus Brian Keller, and rounding out the opening pay-per-view card. Opening the pay-per-view is Vitor Belfort versus Lyoto Machida in a loser leaves town match unofficially, but pretty much say that what it is.
Loser leaves Bellator.
Yeah, loser goal is alternate in the Bellator Grand Prix. Overall, this is a pretty good main card, I think. Anyways, preliminary card has has stuff to kind of. If this was like a UFC fight night, I would definitely watch it. But pay-per-view, no. Sorry.
No.
So what kind of match you guys want to talk about here? We kind of going to go out of order. You want to talk about the Belfort versus Machida? Are these guys friends, right?
I think
good friends, bitter enemies.
I think this is the unofficial Vitor League that he was talking about. Lately, I've seen a lot of them, and I think Dana White's finds easing into what Bellator's already been trying to do, in that you got name recognition, might as well pump together. They're not going to go for the belt anytime soon, but people still want to see how those tough fights will turn out, and I think this is one of them. Does the winner really matter in this fight? No. I think both of the fighters, their legacy has already been made. This is just a bunch of extra on top, and to tell you the truth, I just think it's straight for the fans, and has no. If someone wins, they're not going to go for a title run.
Yeah, Nate Marquardt. Vitor Belfort's coming off a decision win against Nate Marquardt, and Lyoto Machida's coming off a decision win against Eric Anders. So they're both coming off wins. Is it impressive wins? No, but these guys do have highlight reel knockouts to their names, whether if it's pre-USADA era. You can do the math there. But Guillermo, you like this matchup? You excited about it? Or you just watching a beer, eating a sandwich for this fight?
Or
drinking a beer. Drinking a beer, eating a sandwich.
I've covered it pretty well, so I can move on to the next one. What's the next one that I want to talk about? Jacare versus Kevin Gastelum.
Let's jump right ahead.
That one's a... Yeah, sorry, guys.
That's the only fight that matters on the card.
True. But everybody wants to see Mackenzie Dern, so that's what we're going to acknowledge that because she's really good looking. So, but Jacare Souza versus Kevin Gastelum. This could be a middleweight championship bout, I think, right? But circumstances as it is, GSP comes along and just throws a wrench in everybody's plan. So, Guillermo, what do you got? Who do you got in this fight?
Oh, who do I have? Oh my God, I have Kevin Gastelum. I think. If anything, like I've always said, if Kevin Gastelum can get you in that first round, it's over with. But if not, it extends that beyond the first round. I got Jacare winning. So, I mean, it's hard to just say one particular name, but I want both of them to win because I like both fighters. But like you guys are saying, I mean, like this is very impactful in that middleweight weight class because you have, especially with Yoel Romero versus Whitaker, kind of we're still waiting in the wings for that fight to take place, but it really determines the pecking order for who's next. So it's a number one contender fight in my books. So whoever wins gets the winner out of Whitaker versus Yoel Romero. So that's why, to me, it's like the biggest fight on the card. Even though there's a championship fight, it's just a championship fight. I think Amanda Nunes is better than anybody else in that weight class. So
that's a false statement.
What do you think about? It seems like Jacare is taking the hard road to the title, huh?
Yeah, and I think he has.
If he gets past Kevin Gastelum, he took the long hard road.
He took the longest road there, but I agree. I think the winner out of here has to get the winner out of the actual middleweight championship title fight.
That's what I said. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you for once. But I do want to talk about the Amanda Nunes fight. I don't think she is the greatest in her division. She has losses for a reason. I've seen the formula to beat her. And to tell you the truth, don't be surprised that Raquel wins. I do think I think the only thing that she has going against her is that she hasn't fought in a long time. She's been sidelined for so long that might take into effect in the fight. But I really do think she's the better fighter. I think there's plenty of competitors out there that can beat Amanda Nunes. I do not see her as being a long title reign person.
Yeah, she last fought. This is Raquel Pennington in November 2016, when she defeated Miesha Tate via unanimous decision. So
I was at Animal Kingdom hoping Amanda Nunes was there. I know last time right before she fought Ronda Rousey, I saw her there, and I gave her the voodoo to defeat Ronda Rousey. I hope she pulls it off today, because I just want to make sure that she proves Albert wrong. I think she is the best right now, currently, at that weight class.
And Mackenzie Dern is making her second UFC fight. She's fought in March. She's already fighting already. They want to get her going, man.
You know when's the last time I saw something like this? Sage Northcutt, baby.
And Paige Van Sant too, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So it's UFC 224, May 12th, live on pay-per-view, with the prelims being featured on Fight Pass. And
that's next week.
Yeah, on FX, not Fox Sports, FX. I'm sure there's baseball going on there.
It looks like I'm going to be on Instagram all day that day.
Yeah, because I think Fox Sports probably has some baseball going on. Again, what's up with the Albert Pujols and the 3,000 hit club?
I'm happy for Albert Pujols. I just said that he couldn't do it at Angel Stadium. That's the only thing. But Mr. 3,000, man.
Yeah, I legit forgot he was still playing. I swear, I was like, what the heck? This guy's still playing?
Hater.
What is he like?
What's up with the Dodgers? Weren't they supposed to be World Series champs this year?
They're struggling.
Isn't go back to the Angels? He's like, is he even like starting, or because he's not the DH, right? The Otami's the DH.
He's the DH. Yeah, he trades with Otami occasionally, and then he'll play first base. Occasionally, Mike Scioscia is doing a very good job. Fantastic manager, like always.
Well, he's a good manager.
He knows how to use his stars correctly, so they all get at bats. They all get playing time. So I don't know what else you can say.
I mean, he did come from the Dodger system, so he should be a good manager.
And with that, I want to thank everybody for listening. Keep up to date with 5 Round MMA. Follow us on Twitter at 5 Round MMA. It's FIVE Round MMA. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Podomatic. Visit 5roundmma.com. A big thank to all of our sponsors. Albert, what do you got?
LAFC, baby. Where's Orlando FC at, Guillermo? Exactly. LAFC, baby.
They're not that good this year. They're not that good. The only thing I had is sad when the Miami Marlins have a better record than the LA Dodgers. And then the last thing I want to leave everybody, dude, I don't care what anybody says, Dolph Ziggler is the best wrestler on the planet today. Oh yeah, the cream of the crop.
Thanks for tuning in